Hi there and welcome to the channel, and to this my first video of 2026 in which I wish to direct your attention to a wonderful cosmic horror short story by H.P. Lovecraft, The Temple from 1925, which I read in this Lovecraft Omnibus 2, Dagon and Other Macabre Tales, with this truly second-rate artwork on the cover. No matter. The Temple, which will take you around 20 minutes or so to read, and to which you'll find a link to a free online version in the description, is presented as being the contents of a manuscript found on the coast of the Yucatan, written by a German naval officer, the commander of a submarine during World War I, and in it he chronicles the bizarre events which have overtaken himself and the crew of his vessel. Of course, there is a strong supernatural element, the contents of which I'm not about to divulge, but what really makes this story stand out for me is the over-the-top personality of this German officer. Two things in particular: his taste for discipline. Men are shackled, whipped and shot for seemingly the smallest of infractions. And then there is his racism. Not only is this directed at non-Germans, but it would seem there is no one in the German military who is German enough for the taste of our officer. And to give you a flavour of this story, I will now read you a couple of paragraphs from the opening pages. When we rose to the surface about sunset, a seaman's body was found on the deck, hands gripping the railing in curious fashion. The poor fellow was young, rather dark and very handsome, probably an Italian or Greek, and undoubtedly of the Victory's crew. He had evidently sought refuge on the very ship which had been forced to destroy his own. One more victim of the unjust war of aggression which the English pig-dogs are waging upon the fatherland. Our men searched him for souvenirs and found in his coat pocket a very odd bit of ivory, carved to represent a youth's head crowned with laurel. My fellow officer, Lieutenant Cleanser, believed that the thing was of great age and artistic value, so took it from the men for himself. How it had ever come into the possession of a common sailor, neither he nor I could imagine. As the dead man was thrown overboard, there occurred two incidents which created much disturbance amongst the crew. The fellow's eyes had been closed, but in the dragging of his body to the rail they were jarred open, and many seemed to entertain a queer delusion that they gazed steadily and mockingly at Schmidt and Zimmer, who were bent over the corpse. The boatswain Muller, an elderly man who would have known better had he not been a superstitious Alsatian swine, became so excited by this impression that he watched the body in the water and swore that after it sank it drew its limbs into a swimming position and sped away to the south under the waves. Cleanser and I did not like these displays of peasant ignorance and severely reprimanded the men, particularly Muller. Fine stuff, I'm sure you'll agree. Now, I can't leave you without noting that Lovecraft's story is clearly indebted to one by Edgar Allan Poe, his 1831 tale, M.S. Found in a Bottle. So I'll also post a link to a free online version of that story too. Okay, I believe that concludes this video. All that remains is for me to bid you farewell in time-honoured fashion. So, until the next time, be safe, be strong, nanu nanu.